Deer Valley's hotel scene is completely insane. The resort and its hotel partners cater to the highest earning movers and shakers, and on-site lodging brings in revenue numbers that essentially dwarf the money brought in by mountain visitation alone. In fact, real estate development is being used to justify an astounding 3,700-acre terrain expansion, which is set to be the largest North American ski resort investment in decades. But just how crazy are we talking here? Well, there's no better place to look than Deer Valley's 5-star hotels, which go for rates most could only dream of affording, but provide amenities so high-end they arguably make the skiing secondary to the stay itself. There's all sorts of lodging scattered around Deer Valley's footprint, but only 3 hotels earn the 5-star status: the Stein Eriksen, Montage Deer Valley, and St. Regis. In this video, we'll go through these accommodations in order of their highest nightly rate, and after you see just what they offer, it should be pretty self-explanatory why they're so highly desired by those who don't have to stick to a budget. If you find this information helpful and you want to actually book a trip to one of these hotels, be sure to check them out using the links in the description below. These are third-party affiliate links, meaning we don't have direct financial relationships with the hotels featured in this video, so you'll be helping out the channel while allowing us to continue creating independent alpine content. Enjoy! First off, we have the Stein Eriksen Lodge, which is located at Deer Valley's mid-mountain adjacent to the Silver Lake Junction area in a wide selection of mid-mountain lifts. And the first benefit of this lodge is obvious. You get to skip the early morning traffic out of the main base, and you also don't need to deal with getting back down there at the end of the day, which can be a huge pain. The priority access to the resort's more interesting and reliable mid and upper mountain areas is a huge feature in and of itself, but it's only the beginning of what this 5-star hotel has to offer. Even getting into the hotel is an experience. Valet parking is standard, and you'll never even touch the doors to get into the lobby because there's always a bellman there to open them for you. Before you even check in, you can help yourself to a selection of complimentary apples. These look pretty good from an aesthetic perspective alone, but it turns out that according to the hotel, they have a functional purpose. The Stein sits up at 8,100 feet, a lot higher than many guests are used to, and since the apples have a lot of water, they help a ton with the altitude. And when you're in the process of checking in, you get your own complimentary welcome kit, which includes liquid IV, mountain sport drink mix, and your own Stein branded hand sanitizer. Once you've checked in, you'll probably head to your room, and the Stein includes options ranging from incredibly nice to mind-blowingly luxurious. We were able to get a thorough tour of this mid-tier luxury 1-bedroom, which comes with a full living room, a generous dining room table, and a kitchen. The suite is quite well appointed, with furniture that looks so expensive you might be afraid to even touch it. There are even ottomans for you to lounge on and stare out the window, albeit at the trees right outside your unit. For a premium, you can upgrade to a mountain view. No one unit has the exact same upholsteries, but no matter which one you stay in, they're all comparably high-end. There's no lack of space either. You can probably host a party of 20 in this room if you want, and this isn't even close to the biggest suite you can reserve. Heading into the bedroom, you're greeted with a bed with so many pillows, it's hard to tell where you'll even be able to fit to sleep. You'll also get more chairs, a private TV and fireplace, and your own private desk, so you can do business in style. Moving on to the bathroom, it's pretty standard fare for a luxury hotel, with a bath, shower, and of course, a toilet in its own secluded room. You also have a full powder setup, including a neat, well-upholstered stool. The unit also comes with its own balcony and private outdoor hot tub, both of which are directly accessible from the bedroom. And let's be honest, there are very few things more luxurious than being able to lounge in a jacuzzi without even having to get dressed first, and on the side of a mountain of all places. There aren't really any crazy hidden features in this unit, but if you're looking for traditional ultra luxury, it's got you covered. This all being said, while we didn't get to see the other units, it gets a lot nicer than this if you're willing to pay. If you splurge for one of the penthouse grand suites, you can get vaulted ceilings, jacuzzi baths, or double-decker loft setups, one of which even comes with a spiral staircase. But you don't just stay at the Stein Eriksen for the room. The amenities are what really make your stay. So let's go through what the rest of this hotel has to offer, and then we'll tell you how much you'll actually be paying for this place. And remember, the Stein has the lowest top nightly rate of Deer Valley's 5-star hotels. Let's start with actually walking around the property. And the Stein isn't actually one connected building, rather, it's a series of buildings that are linked by an internal courtyard. While Deer Valley may not be in the cottonwoods, it does see its fair share of snow during a typical winter, but not to worry. because these are heated walkways, and even during the craziest storms, the snow will simply melt away. After you arrive and get settled in your room, the main building worth checking out is the Mountain Lodge. This building has a huge communal space, and if you're staying in one of the highest end rooms, they're located on the upper floors of this structure. Also located in this lodge is the Stein's concierge. The staff here, and yes, there are multiple, so you won't have to wait in line, can set you up with reservations to any place in town and any activity. Whether you want to order flowers, a private chef, dog sledding, or even hot air balloon rides, these guys have you covered. The Mountain Lodge also hosts a fancy bar and restaurant, both of which offer direct views of the slopes of Deer Valley. And while the service is just as nice as one would expect from a 5-star hotel, the most impressive part about the establishment is the commodious wine vault. The wine menu is over 90 pages long, and the most expensive bottles cost more than the average person spends on food in 3 years. There's also a game room on the lower level. It's pretty normal for a nice hotel, but if you don't want to eat at the nicer restaurant upstairs, you can get what's probably some of the only 5-star pizza and chicken tenders in the Rockies. But you don't actually have to dine inside when you're dining at the Stein Eriksen. The property rents out bubble globes for guests to enjoy their meals in the outdoors, but with space heaters to protect you from the cold, harsh winter. These rentals are not cheap, going between $200 to $250 per meal during the ski season, but you're not going to find bubbles to dine in at your ordinary luxury hotel restaurant. Okay, but while the dining may be cool and everything, you're really at Deer Valley for the skiing, and besides the mid-mountain access, there are a few ski-in, ski-out benefits we didn't mention previously. Unlike other hotels, where there might be a ski valet but you'll have to fully gear up in your room, at the Stein Eriksen, you can walk over to the slopes in your regular clothes and have all of your equipment, including skis, boots, helmets, and goggles, ready with the slopeside staff. And if you're a snowboarder, they'll point you right to the direction of the shuttle bus to go to Park City instead. After getting off the slopes after a few hours of shredding the groomers, the one place you'll want to hit is the pool. And the Stein not only has one outdoor pool, but 2 of them, and both are heated. These pools are decidedly ritzy and embrace form over function, with neither stretching deeper than 5 feet, but you get an embroidered Stein Eriksen Lodge logo in both of them, so you'll never forget where you paid to stay at. In one of the pools, there's even a built-in waterfall, and if you didn't want to use the one in your room or you wanted to schmooze with other guests, the pool area has 2 hot tubs as well. But perhaps the crown jewel of the Stein Eriksen's amenities is its spa. Treatments cost a premium for almost all guests, with options starting at more than $200, but you get way more than just a nice massage. First off, the men's and women's locker rooms come complete with their own insane private tubs, one of which is a traditional hot tub, and the other of which is a cold, saltwater personal plunge pool. You're apparently supposed to alternate between the two to recover best from your ski day and get the best experience for your body. Both locker rooms also smell absolutely incredible and have wet and dry saunas as well. One downside to the Stein, and actually all of Deer Valley's 5-star hotels, is that there are no saunas outside the spa, so you need to book a treatment to access these facilities, whereas many cheaper hotels offer them as a standard part of the stay. And finally, men and women have their own relaxation rooms, giving guests a place to just chill within the spa. These exclusive low-light spaces come with complimentary high-class tea, some sort of high-grade pastry and nuts finger dish, and of course, apples. When it comes to the treatments themselves, if you can think of it, the Stein offers it. The traditional massage rooms are pretty first-rate on their own, but depending on which treatment you book, you'll notice some pretty wild features. This room looks pretty normal at first, but if you look up, you'll see what looks like pipes on the ceiling. But wait a minute, this is a 5-star spa, so why would they allow something so unbecoming in a treatment room of all places? Well, it turns out those aren't pipes at all. This room is specifically designed for an ashiatsu massage, which means therapists use their feet to administer deep pressure to your body, and these so-called pipes are actually stabilizing bars so the masseuse can stand on you while applying the treatment. But that's not even the craziest treatment that the spa has to offer. This room involves its own high-class shower heads, where you're covered in steamed towels as you're gently drizzled in what's called a Vichy shower, all right on top of the massage bed. And if you want a treatment with your significant other, there's even a couples massage room. There's even an option to have a couple's soaking tub ready for you to have some private alone time. So the Stein Eriksen has a lot going for it, especially in terms of its amenities. But how much does it cost? Well, the one bedroom we toured earlier can be had for about $2,500 to $3,000 a night, and if you get a normal hotel room on an off-peak weekday, you can stay for closer to $1,400 per night. But if you decide to splurge for the grand suite in the Mountain Lodge, the nightly peak time rate tops out at a whopping $10,900 after taxes and fees. But while that might sound absolutely insane to you, this rate isn't even close to the most you can spend per night at Deer Valley. Next up, we have the St. Regis Deer Valley, and if you thought that last hotel was crazy, just wait until you see this one. In fact, from an outside looker's perspective, the St. Regis might have the most insane facade of any ski resort hotel we've seen anywhere in North America. When you first enter the St. Regis, it seems like a pretty modestly sized building for a hotel. After all, you only see a lobby, driveway, and maybe room for a few suites and conference rooms. So where are all the guest rooms? And where are all the people? Well, it turns out this building isn't the main hotel after all, and the true spectacle sits another 500 feet up at the top of the mountain ridge. And to get to the top of that mountain, you need to ride on none other than an alpine funicular, a crazy ridgeside railway that's exclusive to the hotel and might be one of the coolest modes of uphill travel at any ski resort we've ever visited. The funicular is called like an elevator, and in about 90 seconds, you get a ride from the bottom station to the main hotel building, all while getting first-hand views of Deer Valley and the surrounding environment. One really interesting thing about the funicular, besides the fact that it even exists in the first place, is that if you're staying at the St. Regis, you might notice that you'll never ride up with a staff member. It turns out that there's a reason for that. The area you ride in is not the actual full funicular cabin, and in the upper quarter or so of the cabin, there's a hidden compartment for staff use only. The rail cars are tinted to give the illusion that the staff quarter doesn't exist, so if the lack of upward-facing windows doesn't give it away, you really need to be paying attention to even notice this area exists in the first place. If you're really quiet on your next ride in the funicular, you might be able to piece together sounds of staff conversations from behind the funicular wall. One of the biggest questions you might have after seeing this unorthodox layout is, how do you even get to the slopes? The St. Regis is located at Deer Valley's main snowpark base, but wait a minute, is it? Well, it turns out that the funicular brings you so far up, you end up on your own ski-in, ski-out entry way up on the Deer Hollow Trail. You do still have to go through the main base to get to mid-mountain areas, but if you want to avoid early morning lift lines, you can spend your first few laps at the less crowded Mountaineer area. As with the Stein Eriksen, the hotel will take care of your skis for you, and they can get them tuned overnight for you as well. Getting up to the hotel itself, you end up in an appropriately luxurious atmosphere. When you check in or get back from the slopes, you're greeted with fancy welcome drinks. You have the nice lobby, a see-through fireplace, and a mini exhibit on the history of Park City as a ski town. And if you go to the terrace at 6:30 every night, you're treated to free champagne, which the hotel likes to make a spectacle out of by having a staff member savor the bottle while standing surrounded by this fire. It's also worth noting that if you tire of taking the funicular, there's a secondary entrance to the hotel right at this lobby, and the concierge can set you up with shuttles that take you to and from any location within 5 miles of town. Like the Stein Eriksen, the St. Regis also has a decidedly fancy spa, and also like the Stein, you need to book a treatment for access. This one's a bit different. You don't get access to quite as crazy of massages as the Steins, but you do get a very cool ambiance in the exclusive locker room hot tubs, wet and dry saunas, and of course, your own relaxation room complete with bite-sized snacks and teas. And if you get thirsty in the locker rooms themselves, you can choose from an extensive sampling of decoratively organized canned water bottles. And when it's time for you to get changed and go in for your treatment, you'll do so in style with an embroidered St. Regis Deer Valley robe. But if you decide not to splurge for a spa treatment, there's no shortage of other wellness amenities on site. Just like the Stein, the St. Regis has its own ritzy pool, and dividing the two sections are 3 small fountains rather than one big one. The pool is heated as well, with the temperature kept at 82 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the entire year. The pool also sits adjacent to 2 hot tubs, and if it's a particularly sunny day, the St. Regis provides complimentary premium SPF 30 sunscreen. If the slopes didn't tire you out enough, the St. Regis has a large and airy gym, meaning you'll never be fighting with other guests for the next machine. And if you're a yogi, the hotel runs multiple yoga classes across various times of day. And while there's no arcade room, the St. Regis does have a facility dedicated to virtual golf, football, soccer, and a range of other sports. The St. Regis's restaurant presence is decidedly extensive. The hotel has multiple dining options on site, including bar fare, an Italian restaurant, and a fancy seafood and steak establishment. At the latter, you can choose to be seated in an exclusive dining room within the massive wine vault, and as you might expect, there are options on the wine menu that will drain most people's entire savings account, and then some. But the big remaining question you probably have about the St. Regis is, how are its rooms? Well, this answer varies quite a bit depending on your budget, but they're all decidedly upscale. The hotel offers a range of standard guest rooms and suites, and if you splurge for a suite, you're guaranteed to get a fireplace, full balcony, and kitchen. The one bedroom we checked out was incredibly well finished, with even the little details feeling well thought out and modern. You get slit opening curtains from the master bedroom into the bathroom, a hidden wine fridge and cabinet, and a pretty incredible view of the mountain from this specific room. And then there's one feature that's just plain cool. As you pass by the doorbells in your hallway, you'll notice that some of them are either lit up in red or green. It turns out there's an actual code to this system, with red meaning do not disturb, and green meaning room service, and you can set the color of the button from the comfort of your own room. Pretty cool. In the St. Regis, the overwhelming majority of rooms are in the main hotel that you take the funicular to get to. But as of 2021, there's now an add-on with some incredibly nice suites in the lower section of the hotel. The Snowpark residences are just a little bit nicer than the other rooms at the St. Regis, and most of them are multi-bedroom suites. There are a couple of amenities that especially stand out if you go for a premium room. All the suites, including this one, come included with a butler service that will unpack your clothes and put them in your drawers, and do the reverse when your stay is over. In addition, if you splurge for a Snowpark residence, you get access to the ultra-exclusive Deer Crest Club, which doesn't have the craziest quarters out there, but comes with complimentary breakfast and snacks for the duration of your stay. So, how much does this all cost? Well, if you go for a one-bedroom suite like the one in this video, it'll cost you around $3,000 per night during a typical winter period, with prices increasing substantially during the holidays. If you're cool with a regular guest room, you can find rates closer to $2,000 per night. But if you want to go all in and get a Snowpark 4-bedroom suite complete with Deercrest access and butler service, the rate tops out at an astounding $19,422 with taxes and fees included. This is an insane amount of money to spend on a hotel room, and to put it into perspective, you could buy 15 full Icon passes for the price of a single night in this room. But you're getting some truly unparalleled hospitality features, and the physical rooms themselves aren't holding anything back either. And finally, we have the Montage Deer Valley, the third and last slopeside 5-star hotel at the resort. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get film footage of the Montage, but there are a few aspects of this hotel that we had to highlight. While we can't show you what they actually look like, these are a few of the insane features you get by staying at the Montage: a world-class spa with private hot tubs that overlook the mountains, a lavishly appointed swimming pool surrounded by mosaic pillars, 5 on-site restaurants, including one with a bowling alley, and modern rooms with fireplaces, heated floor bathrooms, and incredibly well-finished upholsteries. If you upgrade to one of the residence suites, you get a true ultra-luxury apartment, complete with impeccably appointed living rooms, fully equipped kitchens, and massive balconies. In addition, while the other 2 hotels offer their own mid-mountain access, the Montage does it one further and provides direct access to the highest elevation Empire area. This terrain zone hosts what we'd argue are Deer Valley's best runs, especially for experts, by a substantial margin. And just like the Stein in St. Regis, the Montage will take care of all of your ski equipment for you, and they'll get your gear tuned for you as well. As one might expect, the Montage does not come cheap. You can get one of the king rooms starting at about $1,300 per night on an off-peak winter weekday, but if you want to go all out and splurge for the Vista View residence with spa credits included, the hotel tops out with taxes and fees included at a whopping $20,056 per night. That is the same amount that the average American pays in rent in a full year, all for just one night. With a week-long stay in the highest-end Montage apartments, you'll easily be topping a 6-figure stay. So by the time you reach 5-star status, there's only so much extra luxury a hotel can add to really stand out. But where the Stein Eriksen, St. Regis, and Montage Deer Valley attract so many guests even with such high rates are in their convenient slopeside locations, unrelenting hospitality that takes the hassle out of essentially every part of a ski trip stay, and frankly, just earned reputation over time. Combined with the staff-heavy, well-groomed slopes of Deer Valley itself, It's no wonder these hotels cater so well to those who care about luxury, but not necessarily the biggest and most unique ski resort terrain. If you're looking to get pampered on your next ski trip, or you happen to have tens of thousands of spare dollars lying around, you won't be disappointed with any of these hotels. For more information on Deer Valley and over 90 North American destination ski resorts, check out peakrankings.com. See you for the next one.